Every YouTuber you watch is somewhere behind the scenes, paying an editor, and that has built a hidden labor market most people never see priced. The government says the typical film and video editor earns about $71,000 a year. The freelance forums say editors charge a few $100s a video. Those two numbers describe completely different lives, and the gap between them is the whole story. So we audited whether you can actually make a full-time living editing video, especially for creators. First, set the target. A full-time income means replacing a normal salary reliably year after year, not one good month. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts the median wage for film and video editors at just under $71,000 a year, with the bottom 10th under $40,000 and the top 10th above $145,000. So the honest full-time bar is somewhere in the $60,000 to $70,000 range, net repeating. But notice what that median hides. It is dominated by salaried staff editors at studios, networks, and post houses, people with a single employer and a steady paycheck. The freelancer editing YouTube videos from a bedroom is playing a structurally different game. They do not have a salary. They have a stack of invoices that has to be rebuilt every single month. Same job title. Completely different income engine. The question is whether that freelance engine can be run at salary scale? And the answer turns entirely on how the work is priced. Start with how most freelance editing is actually sold per video. For YouTube work, the going range is roughly $200 to $800 for a finished long-form video, or about $25 to $100 per finished minute. Those headline numbers sound fine until you do the labor math behind them. A polished 10-minute YouTube video with retention cuts, B-roll, motion graphics, and sound design routinely takes a skilled editor 8 to 15 hours from raw footage to final export. Price that video at $400 and a 12-hour edit, and you are working for about $33 an hour of actual cutting. Then subtract the unpaid hours nobody invoices for. Finding clients, sending proposals, revisions, and chasing late payments. Run a clean $400 video every single week with no gaps, and you gross about $20,000 a year. The per video gig, taken on its own, is not a full-time income. It is a side hustle that feels like a job, the version that actually pays the bills, and it is a different business model wearing the same skill. The editors who go full-time almost never sell one video at a time. They sell the same creator a guaranteed block of videos every month on a retainer. A typical creator retainer for 4 to 8 long-form videos a month runs roughly $800 to $2,500, and established editors with a track record charge $5,000 to $15,000 a month for a single high-volume creator. The shift matters for two reasons. First, it converts unpredictable gigs into recurring revenue you can count on, the exact thing a salary gives you, and a gig does not. Second, it kills the unpaid hours because you are not constantly reselling. One published freelancer example, a single retainer at $2,800 a month for 4 videos, scaled across clients, lands near $95,000 a year. The skill is the same as the per video gig. The pricing structure is the entire difference between a side hustle and a living. So run the small business math the way a working editor actually does. The goal is not one giant client, it is a small portfolio of recurring ones, because a single client who leaves should never erase your whole income. Aim for a $65,000 year, which is a little under $5,500 a month. You can reach it 3 clean ways. 2 anchor clients at roughly $2,500 to $2,700 each, or 3 to 4 mid-tier creators at $1,500 to $1,800 apiece, or 5 to 6 smaller channels at $800 to $1,200 each. Each path hits the same target, but the multi-client versions are sturdier because no single cancellation sinks the month. This is the structure that separates the editors who survive from the ones who burn out. Not a higher rate, but a deliberately diversified book of recurring clients instead of a feast or famine pile of one-off gigs. But there is a force pressing on this market that you cannot ignore, and it is reshaping the floor in real time. Artificial intelligence editing tools have become genuinely capable at the bottom of the skill ladder. The market for these tools was worth about $1.5 billion last year and is projected to roughly 6-fold by the end of the decade. What they automate is precisely the entry-level work: rough cuts, basic captions, color correction, audio cleanup, and template-style short-form social clips. The effect is a split market. Junior editors who only do assembly cuts and template edits are being squeezed hardest. Those tasks are the first things software now does in seconds for almost nothing. Meanwhile, freelance postings overall actually rose, but a lot of that growth is high volume, low-rate work that a non-editor can now brief an artificial tool to start. The editors who are insulated are the ones whose value is judgment, not labor, story structure, pacing, taste, and the relationship with a creator who trusts them. The commodity layer is collapsing. The judgment layer is not. Step back and the pattern is clear, and it rhymes with almost every creative trade. The full-time editing income does not come from being faster with the software. Software is now the cheap part. It comes from owning the relationship and the judgment that software cannot replicate. Notice how the two engines diverge. The per-video freelancer competes on price and speed, which are exactly the two things artificial tools are crushing fastest. The retainer editor competes on trust, consistency, and creative taste. The things a creator cannot get from a tool because they require understanding that specific creator's voice. So the editors who actually go full-time look less like fast button pushers and more like a fractional post-production partner, a small loyal roster of creators who pay every month because the editor makes their channel better, not just shorter. The job title says editor. The viable business is closer to a recurring creative service with a handful of anchor clients. So, can you really make a full-time income as a freelance video editor, especially for creators? The honest answer is yes, but almost never the way beginners try to do it. If your plan is to charge per video and out-hustle everyone on speed, you are competing directly against software that works for pennies and never sleeps. That path tops out as a hard side hustle, not a salary. But if your plan is built on recurring retainers with a diversified handful of creators who trust your judgment, it is a real and durable business, and the government's $71,000 median is genuinely reachable. The single sharpest filter is this one question: are you selling finished videos, or are you selling a relationship? Selling videos puts you in a race against machines on price. Selling a relationship puts you somewhere a machine cannot follow. The editors who make a living are, overwhelmingly, the ones who stopped selling cuts and started selling trust.